every pony.
Hey gamers. Did you just say hello every pony in 2024? Jesus Christ.
It's a My Little Pony speed draw, dear. Like, we gotta be like a theme.
There's ponies? Oh my god. I'm out of here. I need to leave. I was asked to join and talk about stuff. Redesigns.
Yes. Okay, Mark, do you know anything about My Little Pony? Anything about My Little Pony, actually?
I know a lot of people want to... No, I can't say that. I don't know anything about it.
It's too early in the video to say it.
Too early in the video to say it, I guess. I know a lot of people really like these ponies in a lot of different ways, and that's all I know about it. I know they're horses, but small.
So, like, My Little Pony has things called generations. Like, a lot of toy lines do this. Transformers does this. I think Lego or, like, Bionicle did this for a bit. I don't know if they did.
Yes, Bionicle! Sorry.
Okay, got it.
I'll contain myself. I'm okay, I'm good.
Are you?
Fucking Bionicle! Okay, I'm good, I'm fine.
Okay. In generations, like, the most popular generation of My Little Pony was by far Generation 4, that was Friendship with Magic. This recent one, G5, is less popular, but does have its fans. And we'll get into a bit why. The inspiration for this video came when I watched another YouTuber who also does speed draws called Inkyo. Or their name is Lucky in the videos.
Okay.
And I disagree with a lot of their takes, but there's one part where I do agree with, where it's like they said, like, if you look at the designs in Generation 4, and you look at their names, like, they fit, like, easily, like, Pinkie Pie looks like Pinkie Pie, Twilight Sparkle looks like Twilight Sparkle, stuff like that. But, like, if you look at the designs in, like, G5, they don't really fit often, like Stunning Star Scout or Easy Moonbow, stuff like that. So the idea behind this redesign video was basically just doing that, making the designs look closer to their names.
Ah, that's an interesting take. Cool.
So the first one we are going to do is Stunning Star Scout. Stunning Star Scout is an optimistic activist Earth pony in the movie and also the show. And also, like, sometimes she gets, like, these little alicorn, like, appendages. An alicorn is basically, like, a winged unicorn.
Ah, nice. Like a Pegasus?
Yeah, a Pegasus with a horn.
Ah, cool. I see.
Yeah, the freakleaks are, like, rulers and stuff like that, or, like... Alright, so one of the main things I want to do was redesign, like, going more off the Tell Your Tale designs more than anything else. Tell Your Tale is, like, these series of YouTube shorts. And the thing is with Tell Your Tale is that the designs... I understand the idea behind the designs a lot of times. They're meant to be, like, easy to animate, like, on a shoestring, like, YouTube shorts budget and everything. I get that. But at the same time, they're not as cute as they could be, especially with the concept art. So the idea behind, like, a lot of these designs baseline was that it would have more chibi looks. And, like, looks more like the concept art and everything that I thought looked really cute. So, like, these big guys, and smaller mounts. I get why they changed that because it's too similar, might be a little too similar to, like, previous generations and everything, so I get that, but, like, I just wanted to go this way because I thought it looked cuter. Other things I also want to bring back from the concept art was the goggles, because she's meant to be this kind of explorer, like, character and everything, so I thought, like, okay, the goggles work, and also, like, maybe a bit of a gimmick with her character, maybe she's more of an inventor on her side, because right now she has, like, 3 things going for her. She's an activist, she sells smoothies, and also she's an alicorn. A big issue with, like, G5 right now is that it's a bit more on the bland side of everything.
Bland how?
So, like, in G4, when characters, like, had problems or had conflicts or whatever, their personality is so, like, exaggerated and extreme that when they have problems, they would, like, the characters would bounce off each other. Like, there's an episode, there's, like, several episodes of, like, 2 characters just dealing with, like, the personality conflicts. Like, these 2 characters are way too competitive. These 2 characters are, one's prissy and one's, like, more, like, rustic and everything. And they have to learn to get along, stuff like that. In G5, it doesn't really do that as often. Like, or ever, really. Because the characters are a lot more just chilled out and also, like, not as exaggerated as the G4 counterparts. Like, they're very similar always, but they're not as cartoony as they should be.
Right, so they don't really clash a lot, so there's not a lot of interesting conflict, I suppose.
Yeah, a big problem with Maker Market, and maybe I've not watched past Winter Wish Day, which I think was, like, I don't know, chapter 3 or whatever. A big issue with them is that they're not very good on conflict, is that they don't really have a lot of stuff going on. And I feel weird about that because I do like media where, like, there's nothing really going on. Like, I like Kiki's Delivery Service. I like Isekai. Not Isekai.
Isekai, I guess.
Not that one.
The other one.
I don't know
what else.
Ayashikai, something like that. That was, like, healing media where, like, there's a bunch of nothing happening. Like, I like Laid Back Camp. I like Kiki's Delivery Service. I like being Puppy Cat. So it's weird to me that, like, it's an issue with My Little Pony and stuff. So I don't really know why, like, nothing happening in this show is different from nothing happening in those shows. You get me?
I see. I get what you mean. Kind of from what I'm hearing. I mean, I haven't seen it. But they're still sort of doing conflict, so they're not really committing to either one or the other. Maybe that's the problem.
Kinda, yeah. I guess, like, yeah. Because, like, one episode that, like, comes to mind is that, okay, so you have these two sisters, and they're both very different. One's a tomboy, one's a girly girl. You know, it's a standard, like, thing. And there's an episode, like, about how they had to get ready for portraits and stuff like that. But, like, one wants to go do other things, and, like, wants to follow this mystery. The other one, like, only cares about social media and stuff. But so much of the focus is, like, spent on, like, silly jokes or, like, dumb things that we really don't get this conflict until, like, the last third of the episode. And so, like, it's not as, like, explored as it should have been. And most of it, and also, like, a lot of it, like, are you playing with the Kirby toys like, are you?
No, I was trying to be a good, flipping, I don't know, person with audio, so I had to take the battery out of my clock, this is very loud, was making a ticking noise, which actually gets picked up by the mic. So I tried to sort of lean over there and get the clock, but I dropped the whole thing, and so, the battery's out. So that's good. I achieved my goal.
You're very silly.
I was listening.
Okay, what did I say then?
God, fuck. Dude, you can't do this to someone with memory problems. I was really trying.
I don't worry, I get you. Like, so you say you have ADHD.
God, so funny. One of my friends was diagnosed with ADHD, but he forgot. I think that's the fucking funniest. His parents had to remind him of that. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. We'll get back on track, but, like, this reminded me of this one, like, TikTok of, like, someone who worked in, like, as nursing and everything, and stuff, and, like, so he frequently had this issue where, like, someone will come in with problems, and you'll ask, like, okay, do you have any, like, previous surgeries, or, like, any other illnesses, and the person will be like, no, I don't, and then the wife will come in and be like, you had polio!
What the fuck?
Yeah, really, that happens very often. Like, you had, like, 3 major surgeries, you have a new heart, what are you talking about?
Oh man, people have very selective memories, I suppose.
I think it's one of those things where it's like it's so like insane, like when you're like a bystander, but like when you're actually going through it, it's your life, so you kind of put this filter of like, it's not that interesting.
Oh yeah, no, I mean when I go through like major stuff, my brain just blocks out everything, just trying to get through it, and then later I have to be reminded like, oh yeah, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah, well, I don't even mean, like, traumatic stuff. I also just mean, like, you know, like, more joyous stuff. Like, if I said, like, my life was boring, and also I said, like, I went to Japan, like, I wouldn't even, like, register that those two things might, like, conflate. Because, I don't know, a lot of people travel to Japan.
Yeah, but still, it's pretty major.
Anyway, I might have to put this, like, I don't know, as a bonus, rambling or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, just do whatever you want. You're gonna have to edit some audio, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so a big issue with, like, the being bland and everything in, like, My Little Pony, Generation 5, is that, like, characters are not exaggerated, and also, like, when there's conflict between two characters, it's not the focus of the whole episode. And, like, it comes off as a bit more boring because there's not a lot going on until, like, the last third, and so it's just kind of, like, dumb little jokes for most of it.
I see. So I did notice during your speed... Sorry, if you want to continue about that first?
No, go on.
Because I noticed something during your speed draw, that you were like, you know, kind of struggling with the hair a little bit, or at least like contemplating which one to choose, like there were 2 variants there.
Right. Okay, so with the hair of Sunny, like I went back and forth because I wanted to go the spiky bob initially, because I felt that kind of looked like, you know, a bit of like a, you know, a sunset, like upside down, like the little spikes and like on the round and everything. Cute. But I felt like that also kind of cluttered up the design. Like, it's kind of hard to work with this, like, big head and tiny body. And, like, also you have to recognize the hair. And so I also went with the idea of, like, these pigtails. That's, like, kind of inspired by Pippi Longstocking. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah, dude, absolutely. It was very popular in the Netherlands, actually.
Yeah, I've actually never watched, like, the movie or read the book, but I watched, like, this, like, short-lived cartoon series and stuff, and I really liked that.
Yeah. That was both live-action stuff and cartoons, if I recall correctly, yeah. It's very popular here.
I don't think it's as popular here. I think people know it. It's just that they don't really think about it.
Yeah. It's people still know the name. Like, oh, right, red-haired girl with pigtails.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was thinking kind of like that, with like this optimistic attitude and stuff like that. I wanted to keep the satchel because I felt like that worked and everything. And also, I liked the braid in the original. Like, because, braided ponytail kind of makes it look like she's ready for adventure and stuff like that. She's ready to go out and do stuff.
Yeah, right. It's very practical. Doesn't get in the way. Yeah, that's cute. Nice. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Okay.
George Lucas would approve.
Okay, so the coloring was a bit of an issue with Sunny. Again, going off the name, like Sunny, Star, Scout. So I was thinking, okay, Sunny, Star, let's go with like in Scout. You get the Scout part of like exploring like the goggles and everything. But like the Sunny and Star, so like Star, that's associated with night. Yeah, I know. Sun and Star are the same thing. But like I was just thinking like how it would work with like a design like those here. And then Sunny, so like very bright color palette. So I was working back and forth between like different colors. So like if there was gonna be like yellow and cyan in her mane, or if there's gonna be like the yellow of her coat. So I decided ultimately to go with the yellow of the coat because I felt like that. Because at the end of the day, you had to have the ponytail also be the same, the actual ponytail also be the same coloring as like the mane and everything. And so I felt like if they were both like yellow and cyan, they would like clash. It'd be too distracting and like your focus would go two different ways. So making it more like muted purple and blue worked better with this overall. Also, I kept like the original colors of the Ft.Mark and put that in like for her hair and everything.
Yeah, nice. I think yellow and purple was a good way to go with this. Like yellow and dark blue, like the night sky colors combined with something very bright.
Yeah.
Cyan would be... It would be very jumpy. It would be like... You know, they say that purple and like cyan and stuff, that's very artificial, like city-like colors. Because you don't see those a lot in nature. I mean, you do. I'm sure you can think of of exceptions for that, but generally, when people see
poisonous animals, probably like there's probably one poisonous animals like that.
Oh yeah, like poisonous animals too, because well, those are specifically they have those colors to stick out, you know, so they don't really blend in with the other naturey, earthy colors. But like dark blue and dark purple, it's a nice sky color. Yellow, color of the sun, works really well.
Yeah. Do you think this design's a little busy? By the way.
Maybe a little bit, but also because I think when it would be animated, they wouldn't have like lines for the like the stripes on the pigtails and stuff. Like they would just have that lineless. I think that would look a little calmer, maybe. I don't know about the actual style they use, but that's kind of something that generally happens in animation. That for patterns and stuff, you just don't have the outlines for it.
Okay, yeah, maybe. G4 like went back and forth on like if there's outlines on like the hair and everything.
I see.
I kind of regret like the white muzzle, or like the thing that's like over her body, because her body is already a light color. I don't need a light color on top of a light color, you know?
Yeah, I suppose. Then again, I like it on Pikachu. Like when he has like the white fur on his belly, it's very cute.
Yeah, I don't think he usually has that. I think that might have been like a rendering issue.
No, it was like an early artwork of little chubby Pikachu, and also in the movie they brought that back, so that's a very cute design element.
Oh, that is cute. I also, like, with the hair, went back and forth, because I ultimately went with the pigtails, because I felt that was more standout silhouette. And also, like, when, like, the wings are involved and everything, it also still stood out more compared to, like, the little bob.
Alrighty. Can I just say, like, that render of the purple one, it has such a human face, it's freaking me out. There's something about it that looks so weird to me.
That's Izzy Moonbow.
I see. Concept art, very cute, but like the actual render, it looks too much not like a horse. It's just like a face that they took from something else and put it on there.
So G5 decided to like make all the horses like front facing instead of like kind of side facing like the previous generations were. I think it's because it's easier to animate in 3D because the movie was that, and so was the Ft.Mark series.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, because did you ever see like those like terrifying renders of the G4 My Little Pony characters like, in 3D? Let me get them.
I think it's also the mouth, like the teeth and stuff that they have on the other model. This one. Yeah, that's just like, it's just the eyes and the placement of the everything.
Yeah, because like, okay, so like G5 with the Gumo made them a little more human-esque, just so like, because it'll look better like front, facing forward and everything. Also just go, it's easier to animate. They're not, you know, they don't have like, I don't know, Pixar or like Sony budget for this.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Anyway, this character is Izzy Moonbow. Her thing, she's a very ditzy little unicorn, and that also is like the first like non-Earth Pony friend of Sunny. One of her things is also she's very crafty and like loves making arts, crafts and stuff like that. So like when I heard the name Moonbow, I'm not gonna go with Izzy because like that's a pretty normal name. But when I heard the name Moonbow, okay, I was thinking moon and rainbow.
Oh yeah, that works. Cute.
So I had to ask forever.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
I can definitely not tell from her regular design that she likes crafting things. She has like a bracelet thing, but other than that, I don't know. You are right, like I can definitely not tell from these character designs like what they do or what their names are.
Yeah, her Ft.Mark is pretty good, though it's like a little hard with like a sewing button, like little pin needles in it, that thing. I think that works.
Ah, but that is cute.
Yeah, this is a me thing. I hate I hate how, like, normal the names in, like, G5 are. Like, Izzy, Sunny, Pip, Hitch. Like, I hate them. Misty. Okay, so, like, if you can see in the footage and everything. So, one of the things I had to make sure also was, like, was using the pose from, like, the New Generation movie, but also want to make it the art style that's closer to, like, what I was going with Sunny.
Yeah.
And you see in the footage that I initially was going to go with, like, dreadlocks, but, like I said, took inspiration from, like, watching Inkyo. And they already used dreadlocks in their design for Izzy. So I was thinking, okay, that's like a little too close.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I was thinking like, okay, maybe make more cloud shape with like the swirls and everything, make it closer to like original design. But I'm like, I don't know. I decided against that too. Oh yeah, the reference I have over here is of like various rainbow cartoon characters and everything. For like the media, or like characters that have like a bunch of like different colors going on with them.
Ah, yeah. Interesting to see how someone... Like, they take different approaches to combining these colors. It's cool how Rainbow Dash is just a very bright cyan, so the flashy rainbow colors don't stick out as much. While with stuff like Bismuth... I think it's Bismuth was her name, right? From Steven Universe? Yeah. Like her dreadlocks, like they're only a very small part of the character design, and the rest of the colors are very muted, so it doesn't clash too much.
Yeah, well, I noticed with these like character designs all the time is that the rainbows are the accents, so like that's how you like don't have the issue of like it being too jarring. So like you see it on the arms, you see it on the head, you see it like on hair, you see it like just little trinkets like on the lower dress and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fun.
The actual shape of like her and like how I was gonna like add the rainbow element was a bit more complicated. As you can see with the sketches and everything, that I was going back and forth with like how the rainbow would look like in her like cloud afro look. So like the idea for me was I was gonna keep her like a dark hue for like her coat. In the movie and also in the show, she's very ditzy and very silly, extroverted like unicorn, but the rest of her village is not. They're very like down and like emo, like not very sociable and stuff like that. Also very superstitious, so I figured like, okay, give her a dark coat with like these rainbow and bright color hair. I think that works for like symbolism and stuff, where like it shows that she's this beam of light in like a very grim area. Okay, so like one of the things also with like the hair, like how it's also white, because you know, going with the moon element, so like, okay, the moon's white, so we'll go with that. And like it was really difficult to work with like this, like of trying to figure out like how to make the rainbow afro look well, but also not like being too distracted, too jarring with the rest of the design. So like little streaks in the hair, or like trying to make the whole hair the rainbow, or like just make it in a difference, I don't know. And also you gotta recognize the tail. And with the tail I just kind of gave up and just like said fuck it, just make it look more like a cloud. So like a little blue shading underneath and this white, and like that'll be it.
Yeah, the final design definitely gives off some like cloudy vibes, which is nice.
Yeah.
I think that worked out well.
Yeah, I also like, I wanted to add like these little designs, like you see in like real horses, like these little spots and stuff like that, but I felt that was like, ultimately too busy, so I went against it. I did keep the little diamond in the face though.
Yeah, I see. It looks very nice, but it is a bit too busy, especially with all the rainbow stuff going on, and just the general aesthetic of the series. I feel like this is the better option. Yeah,
and also like this is like being animated on like what, Toon Boom or whatever, so like the fun thing about Toon Boom is that you can have like these more complicated rigs, but like, and that's fun, but you still need to think of design elements. Next up, Zip. So like,
kind of like this one, even though it's very much clearly just like trying to be another Rainbow Dash. I feel like it's just like, oh look, it's a fast character who flies and is fast in school and stuff.
Yeah, it's tomboyish, yeah. So that's actually what I want to bring up. So a lot of times people like criticize G5 for like, saying like, these characters are just clones of G4, but like watered down, blah blah. And like my argument with a lot of stuff like that is saying like, I'm not denying that these characters are very similar, but I think that's not really a problem as people make it out to be. Because my thing is like, it doesn't matter where you started, it matters where you go with it. So if like you start with this character being like similar in some ways, and you go with it in a new direction, or you do something different, then that's fine by me. And I think, so with the character that we just showed before, Izzy, she gets called like Pinkie Pie clone a lot, and just like, she's just like that, but instead of like pastries, she makes crafts. I would say that ultimately I think they go in very different directions with this character. For one, Izzy's a bit more level-headed, but also like I'm thinking like even when they have episodes where that's very similar plot lines to ones in G4, it ends up being different. So a little context for this. Oh god, my throat's killing me.
You don't have to provide as much context if you just want to focus on the redesigns. That's fine too.
Yeah, well, no, I want to give also like commentary and thoughts on like G5 and stuff like that, because I don't know, I see a lot of takes on it, and I think that I never see any of my takes around anymore.
Okay.
Friendship is Magic, there's one episode where like Pinkie Pie wants to befriend like this mule, and like this mule does not like want to be it. Don't want to be friends. And so she spends the entire episode kind of harassing him and like trying to get like him to befriend her and everything, up to like following him to his house and like trying to like convince him to be friends and everything. And so like it's made for a joke, but like it's still not treated as badly as it should have been. Like it's just following him around even though it's clear he does not want to be around her. And the episode ends with like her realizing like, oh, okay, you had this girlfriend that you miss, and like here's your girlfriend, I found her, and like now they're friends and everything. It's a message that doesn't really work because like she's way too insistent or way too needy to like get approval from someone. Sometimes people are not going to want to be your friends, and like it's not good to try and force it onto them like this.
Alright, I see.
Yeah. In G5 and like Tell Your Tale, there's one short where it's their equivalent of Valentine's Day. And Izzy wants, the town to like get into the spirit because they're a bit more down on it. So she tries her best to like kind of like push Valentine's Day cards or whatever into people's faces and try to like get them into the spirit of making stuff. And it ends with like a bit of collateral damage where she like breaks some tables and stuff. And like Zip actually comes in and says like, you can't force people to be your friends, and like it takes time and patience. So if they're gonna come around to it, they're gonna come around to it later, not immediately like this. Then she has to kind of accept that. So that's what I mean by like, if characters are like come from a similar background, so they have similar story, but they end up going in different directions with it, like Izzy does here, I think that makes it for an interesting character, or like interesting like stuff to do with this character,
Right, yeah.
So with Zip and everything, she's very different from like Rainbow Dash in actually a lot of ways. The movie, she's like the main character. She's like a bit of a side character. She doesn't get a lot to her. But like in the show proper, she has more like stuff going on where she's a bit more of a more detective like style kind of character. So she like wants to look into mysteries and everything. She's not very good at it, but she wants to try it.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone at MakerMark is a little bit dumb, but anyway. So like with Rainbow Dash and G4, she's very showboaty. She's very much wants attention. She likes, showing she's the best and coolest around. Zip is a lot more introverted. She doesn't like being center attention. She doesn't like people pay attention to her. She just wants to do her own thing. She wants to like be out of that whole thing. Like she enjoys sports. She enjoys being fast. It's not her main thing though. And honestly, that might be a bit of an issue with the name Zip Storm. But that's the point.
Right.
Yeah. One of the more interesting things with her is that, like I said, she has a very girly girl sister, and she's a bit more on the tomboy edge. Like, they don't do much with that, unfortunately. And also, like, you can see with the original design. I don't know how intentional this was, probably not. But she has, like, the trans colors going on.
Oh, yeah. No, I did notice that her wing looked like the bisexual flag. That was cute.
Yeah. So more boyish, has a deeper voice compared to the other characters. So, like, some people like to headcanon her as trans.
Alright, hey, good for them.
But for the design for, like, going by Zip Storm, I was thinking, like, okay, Zip, fast, storm, dark coloring. So I actually used another character I had before called Bottle Rocket, where I was like kind of debating the ideas of like, kind of just like a thought experiment of like, okay, what would I do if I got to make a My Little Pony series? What style would I go for? What kind of designs or characters would I make? And I got the idea of like Bottle Rocket, of like this explosive technician who has like this like dark coat, but also like light streaks in her mane and stuff. I like the lightning bolt in her cutie mark. So I basically just joinked the whole lightning bolt aesthetic for her mane and everything. I also like the little lightning streaks and everything that's a little bright yellow. I think that works. And something I like in the Tell Your Tale design is that she's a bit more slender and slim than the other characters. So I wanted to keep going with that idea, but like exaggerate a bit more. Yeah. Now what you call him, Zip Storm? Oh yeah, I tried to like have this like little glitter. I felt like her coat was a little too dark and everything, so that might be made difficult for like expressions and everything. So I like put a little muzzle. Originally I wanted to put like these little like yellow freckles, sparkles on like her face and stuff like that, but I felt like it was a little too busy. Oh yeah, some of the concept art had like a little earring. I like that, so I just brought it back. God, my throat's killing me. I think I need to like take a break here. Oh god, we've been recording for 30 minutes.
Yes, we have.
Alright, next up is Pip Petals, the girly girl influencer sister of Zip. I think her design in the show is actually pretty alright. It's not shown here, but you can't see her because it's like individual drawings, but like she's a bit shorter than like everyone else. I think it's because her name is Pip. Our fans are called Pip Squeaks.
I like the little concept art in the top left. That one's cute.
Yeah. That's the concept art for Tell Your Tale. I told you, it's really cute.
Yeah.
So of the designs of G5, she's actually one of the stronger ones. I will say the movie has much better character designs than like the show MakerMark does. We'll get into this when we get to Misty, but like man, the coloring on that show is just something else. So the idea with her that I had with Pip is that I wanted to add more of the flower motif. Petals is a good name for like this very frilly character. However, like her main defining features in the final thing are her crown and her like much more pillowy wings than like her sister. So your sister has like more hawk-like wings. This one's like a more pigeon, I guess, or like angelish, you know?
Reminds me of a goose.
Yeah, okay, sure. I think it's a good design, but we're going through the idea of like Pip petals. Well, we'll have to like use more like flower motifs. With Pip, the cutie mark itself is going to change a bit. Do you know the situation with cutie marks, Joe?
Cutie marks, they're like little tattoos that they get on their ass. You know, like when you have like a cow and you need to brand it, you just dip something in fire and you just put it on there and it's horribly painful. But now they do it with horses and it's, you know, super cool and for kids.
Okay, well, in universe, that's not actually what cutie marks are for.
What? Sorry.
Cutie marks, okay, so cutie marks, in G4 and G5, they basically mean, like, indicate, like, your main talent or something that, like, a job you'll, like, go for when you, like, come of age. It also can, like, getting your cutie mark can also be, like, as, like, a weird little puberty metaphor.
Ah, right. I actually knew this.
Oh, you did? Okay, well,
Yeah,
I went on for no
knew
reason.
this somehow.
So one thing I want to keep with Pip here is I want to make her very cute and very soft and huggable, as you can see. So she has a bit, so like if Zip had more lean and more angular stuff, Pip has more soft features. So her feet are more soft than like the other characters. I think I made her snout a little too high up, you see here, because I don't know why, but I keep thinking she looks like a pig, like a little like porky pig face, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. I hadn't really got that vibe from it myself, but I don't know, I just thought it was a cute pointy nose.
Yeah. Another thing I also want to try to add was add the flower motif into her crown itself. So that was a bit difficult to figure out like how that would work with the hair. But the cutie mark itself, like the change there wasn't as hard because, you know, just like her normal cutie mark. Because I think the normal one of the crown and the music symbol was already pretty good. So I just added like little flower petals to the little bump symbol, whatever it's called.
Yeah, right. Cool.
Yeah, also like the curly hair, I think that works. We went with that. As you can tell, like, since I influenced from Vivzy Pop, I took inspiration for, like, the eyelashes, these big, like, poofy ones and stuff. The other characters have, like, a bit more normal, like, pointy eyelashes. This one's, like, very big wings. I also tried to take inspiration from the other princesses in Gen 4, how pointy the crown is, compared to the ears and how it works with the rest of their mane. So I was thinking like maybe a ponytail or something, but I wasn't sure if that would work out all well. So I tried like without the wings for a bit and see like what I could do there. And you can see I tried going for this flower bun hair thing, but like I felt the silhouette was too busy. Eventually I just erased the ears and just tried again. I also made the eyes a bit smaller. Sometimes when I draw characters, a good way of like helping simplify designs is to figure out a silhouette for them and see like if there's too many busy points going on. So like here, right now it's not too busy, but you'd also see like the eyelashes, it can get a bit cluttered.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I also had to keep in mind the wings and see how they would work with the silhouette and also the hair and the mane and stuff, which of course is a bit more difficult. If I would go back to a redesign, like these redesigns, I would give like them a bit longer necks, that way their wings had more space and everything.
Ah, yeah. Also, what I noticed, like, compared to the original, well, the one on the bottom left, like, the head is also way smaller, which gives a lot more space for the wings, but then they added these ridiculously huge wings, which I presume are actually folded up behind her back, probably, when she's walking around, because they are so big. Like, they'll just get in the way all the time.
Yeah, they fold into like you see with the concept art for Telltale in the upper left.
Ah, yeah, that's clever.
Eventually, I decided, like, to go with this bob look that I didn't use for Sunny, instead use for her, because it would be given enough space. And also, I feel like, you know, that's a bit more of a fashionista look. I think short hair can work here. And you don't see that often with, like, fashionista characters anyway. You usually see them with very long hair.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
I also added, like, the little... I don't know what they call this. Like, this, like, neck thing. I guess it's not a saddle, but, like, the necklace. It's a necklace. That's what they call it. It's a necklace.
The neck thing. Like a lace around your neck? Oh god, what? It's the worst. It's the tip of my tongue.
Okay, I was thinking that maybe there's a horse version of this, or I don't know what it might be called, like harness? I don't
know. Noose! That's what you call it. I know.
Yeah. Another thing I also want to be clear, she's a little chubbier compared to the other characters, so like she's a bit more round in the belly. Like other characters will have a bit more thin out there. I don't know, I just think that's a little neat detail. I don't know how intentional I was, so I just kept that here. Regardless.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, and also again, you don't see many chubby fashionistas that are like influencer designs, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Main body being a light pink, I think that worked fine. I'm not really sure why it's a bit darker pink in Telltale for some reason. Maybe it's a bit more contrast against Zip, because she's already white. However, I felt like since our zip here is already dark blue, it would be fine if Pip was the light character. I kind of went back and forth on like the hair of like if it should just be one color or if it should be like multiple colors. Usually I like multiple colors in the pony designs, but sometimes it can also be a bit distracting. I like the purple and pink that I had going on, but it didn't really work with the green eyes and the yellow that had to be in her costume as well. Something I didn't bring up with the other speed draws, but I'll put it here, is that the characters have this colored outlines, but they're a bit darker color outlines compared to their G4 counterparts. I think that still makes them stand out a bit more, but like also has a soft pastel look that works very well with the My Little Pony.
Yeah. Reminds me of Rayman Origins.
Not everything we come back to Rayman, dear.
Yeah, no, actually it can. I just did that. I just brought it back to Rayman.
Well, think about not doing that next time. How about that?
I'll consider it. I won't do it, but I'll consider it.
Again, like, the mains are the thing that fuck me up. Like, I don't know why. Just always something I have trouble with. So, at one point, I just eventually, like, decided to check out the concept art to see if there's something there. And so I just made it a bit more swirly. I think that works.
Yeah, that's cute. So how do they hold phones? Do they have magnets in their hoofs?
Kind of, actually, yeah. So, like... okay, so in universe, you know how we have pop sockets in the real world? So they have kind of like a hoof socket?
Huh?
So they just kind of like put their hooves in like the little socket, and then they can carry the phone around with them.
Weird.
Technically speaking, smartphones existed in G4 too. G4 too because Twilight went to like the real world and they had like modern tech.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I would love to go over like My Little Pony lore with you at some time because like last time I did that, you like reacted with just such shock and awe. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, AJ?
I don't remember. What was that specifically about?
I showed you like random French's Magic characters, and I asked you like, okay, how old is this character? And then I told you their actual age, or like the close, like what kind of age they're meant to be. So you saw the main like 6, and you thought like, oh, well, these are clearly teenagers. I said they're all adults.
Yeah, they look very young.
I showed you like the baby designs, and you just went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Something I like about like Pip's hair that I read with the redesign is that it looks very much like bubblegum. I think that looks well. Something that wasn't intentional, but I kind of like upon retrospect of watching this. The flower stencil in her crown kind of looks a bit like a sun rising. Since her kingdom is on cliffs, I guess you can kind of read it as like sun rising over like hills and everything.
Oh yeah, cute.
Yeah, Pip gave me a lot of troubles, but like there's also not much to talk about with her redesign. Oh yeah, another thing I also, with telling you My Little Pony lore, I also showed you 3 pictures of Twilight and also 2 pictures of human Twilight and 1 of Sci-Twi, and I asked you which one of these characters is a different character.
Nice. Wait, do they tap the flipping phone with their nose?
No, they just tap it with the other hoof.
Then they have to stand on their like back legs.
Yeah, they do that.
Huh.
On to Hitch, and also 2 for 1, Sparky.
This one's a horse.
This one is a horse. This is also like one of the only male horses in the cast. And the first one in My Little Pony, the first male lead.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Finally, some representation.
You joke, but that was... people react like that with like French's Magic.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, they were like, all the boys are like, are treated or presented terribly. Blah, 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 blah.
Even though there's like so many shows that have like all male characters, and maybe like 1 girl character in the cast.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it was like the mid-2010s. You know what it is.
Sure was mid. Sorry.
So the thing
I'll go.
This is another thing in the movie, but with like the series afterwards, is that Hitch adopts like this baby dragon and names him Sparky, or short for Sparkaroni.
Okay, full name Sparkaroni. Like when they do something bad, like a Sparkaroni, you get off that shelf right now.
Yeah, actually I think the name was like Sparkaroni Sparkerton or something like that.
Of course.
It's a very silly name, I kind of like it. So for this, like, I deviated from drawing from like the references and stuff. Have him carry Sparky in his like free hoof instead. To kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I see.
I'll be honest, I did not have a lot of ideas for Hitch initially. The original design is fine. Like, I will say, if you look at the name Hitch Trailblazer, would you say that like design works? It's a bit of a vague name, honestly.
Trailblazer. Hitch Trailblazer. I don't know. Think of like a cowboy or something.
Yeah. You kind of see the Ft.Mark again, but I was also thinking for this, like, okay, if we're going to redesign him, let's lean more into the sheriff motif. Also, the brown and white color scheme.
I do not like how the baby looks.
The baby looks awful.
I do not like him. He's like a little Shrek baby.
Okay,
I need to put him in a blender.
In Tell Your Tale, he looks better, but like it's still not very good because the design itself is just the coloring's bad for one. Like it's a bright teal, like a sickly green muzzle, and then like these purple eyes. Like it could, and also like the head. There's so many bits going on. Like he has wings,
yeah,
and he has like ears, and he has like 4 horns, and like it's too much. It's just too much. That's a big problem with Ft.Mark.
Ears.
Yeah, that's a big problem with Ft.Mark's design. Is that like there's just so much. There's just like a lot of details together, and they don't work.
One
of the things with Sparky's design also is I wanted to bring like these little gill feathers or whatever you see with like Spike's design. Spike is the purple dragon in the up left. There's like little flares that coming out like kind of like a lizard. You know what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna replace the ears with that, and also just only give him one set of horns, just simplifying his like head. In order to like make the redesign noticeable, I had to change his pose a few times, just to make it very clear what he looks like, even if upscared. The wings are actually a bit difficult to deal with this, and I don't know if like everyone else has this, but I know that with me, I have this weird thing where I keep drawing the heads like too small, even if I'm trying like deliberately to make them bigger, or make them very cartoony. I don't know why. My bodies are always just like bigger. Maybe it's because I'm used to like, a lot of times I try to draw more realistic proportions, and like in realistic proportions, like your body is going to be bigger than your head.
I have the exact opposite problem. I always draw the heads way too big and have to scale them down.
I've noticed. I'm sorry.
Whoa! No, I mean, that's true. But only in the sketches. In the final things, it's usually fixed.
I got rid of the sash. Instead, I put the sheriff star on top of his hat, because that's something that's already going to draw your eye. You're already going to be naturally drawn to his face, because that's the most expressive part of the body, so it makes sense to put the symbol on top of his head. This is why in a lot of cartoons you'll see characters have major symbols like either be on their hair, around their chest, because it's all around the face area. With Hitch, I want to do something a little bit different, where I just had him have actual patterns and coloring of a real horse, because I just feel like he'd be more grounded. Haha, very funny.
Ayo.
That also would be more interesting than what he has right now. The yellow and the teal hair, that's fine. I just want to do this. I also took inspiration from another character in Friendship is Magic. That's actually named Pipsqueak in that show. They're completely unrelated to Pipsqueaks in G5, which is like the nearest fan base.
They just kind of forgot they existed. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just because sometimes names and words can be used multiple times.
That's weird. I would never do that.
Sometimes maybe a term like Pipsqueak is actually pretty common, and it's not just one thing.
No, that's crazy. Actually, I'm like, like how in Ren and Stimpy, how they never use the same expression twice. That's me with words.
But how are you talking then?
Well, sometimes I have to use unusual words to still formulate a sentence.
You use the word words twice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But as you can see in the sketch, the hair and coat was a bit difficult because you don't want too much contrast with the coat itself, but you do want to have enough to be noticeable. So it's like a weird middle ground balance you have to figure out. For the cutie mark, I kept it to the original just to see if that would work, and when I decided no, it doesn't, I switched it over to a more neutral coloring. Sparkeroni, with Sparky, I wanted to keep like the green, but like make it a bit more pastel teal instead of this like really neon teal. I don't get what the neon colors with Ft.Mark is about. It always looks ugly. This is Misty Bright Dawn. She's a character who was introduced in Ft.Mark. She's a very shy, demure, nervous character who was abused by the main villain and eventually like learned to stand up against her. From what I haven't seen it through and everything, but with Ft.Mark, sometimes like in fanfics or you see this in shows and stuff where new writers come in, they'll like make another character the main character, and so the main characters get pushed aside. So I think there's a situation with Misty here. She's the one who has actual conflict and stakes and development, and the other characters really don't have that nearly as much compared to her, especially not with the main villain. So you can see with the coloring with Misty's original design is that it's bad. So like it's blue, and then you have like this weird like light pink on her belly and like near the hooves. But like the actual hose itself is a darker color, so it just looks weird. And then you have the pink in there. It would be okay if it wasn't for the pink that just ended randomly appearing in her design. It also doesn't help with Ft.Mark's like not great like lighting or shading. It's because it's 3D and it's on budget, on like Netflix budget, so it doesn't look great.
Yeah, sure.
I've also heard, I don't know if this is right, or maybe someone's making a jab at it, but I also heard that apparently the crew of Ft.Mark was not that familiar with 3D animation. Something I want to do with like Misty here is that make her a bit more lanky. Not lean as in how I did Zip, but more lanky, a bit more unsteady, sort of like when Fluttershy was a kid. I think that would work with her characterization overall. Something I did appreciate once going over the design here was that her hair kind of looks like a teardrop, and then once it gets dyed to match her cutie mark, it looks a bit more like a fiery ball. So like, I think that's actually kind of a clever idea. So I kind of just kept the hairstyle as is, while changing some things around to make it more aesthetically appealing to me.
Yeah, that's good. If you like what you're making, that's usually a good sign.
Yee.
Yee.
So I thought like a good way of doing it was like adding the colors from her friends into the cutie mark, and I think maybe that also was the case with the original. But here it's just like since the character designs are now different, I had to change the color itself. I like the freckles. I think they're cute. I'm good. I decided to keep them. The eyelashes, I made them like on the lower end because it make it look a little bit more like crying stains and stuff.
Oh, that's sad.
So, and we also had like other characters already had blue in their designs. So I said, okay, let's try a bit more purple, or a bit more on the violet side. You know, looking back, I kind of wish I kept the pink. Like, I think it actually looked really nice, but oh well. Ultimately, I went with like this purple streaks in her hair, so like it wouldn't be as distracting. But honestly, if I went back, I'd probably like add the pink again for her hair. I think it looks really neat. I think it stands out very well. Even if the tail design was a bit funky, I still think I would have gone with it. I didn't really know what to go with, like, Misty's design, which is funny, because in the end, she looked extremely similar to, like, her canon design anyway. So, you know, all this is for naught. I went back to the blue, because, like, okay, it's a lighter blue, it should be fine. It's fine. It's fine, I'm fine. I wanted to give her, like, these big old freckles all over, like, you know, the ones that go over the nose, the bridge of the nose and the cheeks. But, again, that might be a difficult in animation, so more often than not, they don't do it. So I just took like the 3 like freckled cheeks instead. But yeah, I'm happy with this line out overall. What do you think, dear? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think they look nice. Very fun and colorful.
Thank you.
And like they fit their individual personalities. I think it's pretty cute.
Left to right is Sparky, Hitch, Trailblazer, Izzy Moonbow, Sunny Star Scout, Zip Storm, Pip Petals, and Misty Bright Dawn.
They're cute.
I might go back and like change the line color for Sunny because it looks a bit too more. It looks a little red. Like I don't know. It doesn't look right to me. Maybe I'll fix it for the final thing.
Yeah, like it stands out a bit. Perhaps too much among the cast.
I also think maybe I add maybe too much like in the purple blue area. You see, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. From a distance, it's a little hard to read, like what's going on with the purple and blue. But, you know, at some point you have to say, this is fine and it's good enough, and just move on with stuff.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, like, that's very important. And I'm sure that the original, you know, people who worked on the show had that too. Like, I'm sure a lot of them would also go back to their old designs and be like, oh, actually, I'd like to change this or make something else. But, yeah, at some point you just have to be like, I'm done, and just move on with stuff. Otherwise you're always going to be stuck on the same thing.
Alright, and with that, I think we'll call this video to a close. Thank you for being here, dear. This is going to be a very long video.
Probably. Thanks for watching.
Bye!